This is the RotoWire Fantasy Football Draft Series sponsored by Circa's Ultimate Fantasy Football Draft Giveaway. In this video, we'll give you 10 bold predictions for the 2025 fantasy football season. I'm going to start out with this one. Dak Prescott, top 5 quarterback. But that's not crazy. If you think in the last 3 odd number years, 2023, Dak Prescott, quarterback 3. 2021, quarterback 9. 2019, the quarterback 2. In the even number years, what happened? Prescott missed time. 9 games in 2024, 5 games in 2022, and 11 games in 2020. Basically, if Dak Prescott's on the field, he has a great trio of receivers in CeeDee Lamb, he has George Pickens, and he has Jake Ferguson. I expect the defense to give up points. Dak Prescott's been there, done that. He is going outside the top 15 quarterbacks. Bank on him doing it again.
Jim, I'm going to start with Caleb Williams will be a top 5 quarterback in 2025. He was a QB 16 as a rookie, despite awful protection, bad coaching, and a shaky supporting cast. He got sacked 68 times and still threw for 3,451 yards, 20 touchdowns while running for 489 yards. The upside, he was number 1 in deep ball attempts and number 11 in red zone throws, but ranked just 27th in protection rate. He had 0 time to operate. Now the Bears hired Ben Johnson, rebuilt the offensive line, and added Colston Loveland and Luther Burden to an already solid group of weapons. With better protection and more explosive playmakers, Williams finally has the structure to match his talent. He's got legit dual threat upside, and now he's in a position to explode.
My next bold prediction, Drake London, top 3 wide receiver. Now, look, in 2024, 1,271 yards, 9 touchdowns, 100 catches. It's a nice season. That's certainly not an elite fantasy player. But in the last 6 games, London had 3 games with at least 17 PPR points. Now, that's not great. That's not in the mid-20s where we'd like to see those high-end games. But here's the point. 10 or more targets in 4 of his last 6 games. And in those 6 games, he averaged 94 yards. That is where we're going. Finally, the last 2 games of the season with Michael Penix, 106 yards and 187 yards and 2 touchdowns. I expect Penix to be hyper-focused on London. London, top 3 wide receiver in 2025.
Jim, I'm going with George Pickens to finish as a top 20 fantasy receiver. He's always flashed big playability, averaging 16.3 yards per catch for his career. But he was held back by a run-heavy scheme and poor quarterback play in Pittsburgh. Now he's in Dallas with a major upgrade at quarterback with Dak Prescott and a pass-heavy offense that needs weapons behind CeeDee Lamb. The backfield shaky, the defense might regress, and Pickens' deep threat skill set fits perfectly with Dak's arm. Even as a number 2 option, Pickens could smash career highs in targets, touchdowns, and explosive plays. He's finally in the right system, and the breakout's coming.
Next, this one's going to be a little frustrating for some people. Brian Thomas finishes outside the top 12 wide receivers. How crazy is this? Well, think about it. Trevor Lawrence played 11 games with Brian Thomas last year. In those 11 games, Thomas had fewer than 6 PPR points 3 times, and he only hit the 20 to 23 mark 3 times. Otherwise, middling play at best. And what I also want to say is Mac Jones comes on end of the season, and this is what we're buying Brian Thomas. In those 6 games with Mac Jones, the lowest game that we saw Brian Thomas Jr. have was 16.6 PPR points. He had 23, 28, and 32. So my whole point is this. I love Liam Cohen's coming in to coach the team, but Trevor Lawrence is still the quarterback. And Trevor Lawrence did not have good chemistry with Brian Thomas Jr., and I don't know that he's going to be as aggressive as Mac Jones was. And now, all that said, I think Brian Thomas finishes way worse than people think. Hey, all right, fantasy football legends, how about taking your draft to Las Vegas? The Circa Resort and Casino is giving one lucky league the ultimate fantasy football experience, 2-night stay, a VIP party at the Legacy Club, and your draft at a private cabana and stadium swim. I've been there. It's incredible. We're talking limo rides, massive screens, DJs, even your own booth at the world's largest sportsbook. You must be 21 or older. Get all the details at circalasvegas.com. If you're going to draft like it matters. Only at Circa. Anthony, take it away.
Jim, I'm going to stay in Jacksonville. I'm going to talk about Travis Etienne bouncing back and finishing as a top 20 running back in PPR because last year was a mess for Etienne. Just 558 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and his fewest touches in a season by far. But the Jaguars' offense was broken, and now it gets a full reboot under Liam Cohen. Etienne still has elite burst and home run speed. He's healthy, he's experienced, and he's by far the most complete back on the roster. Tank Bigsby looks locked into an early down grinder role, and Bichelle Tootin, while fast, is still raw and more of a change of pace flyer. That leaves Etienne as the best bet for passing down work in high leverage touches. If he gets back to 200 plus touches this year, he is smashing his RB39 ADP.
I'm going to go with another negative one here. Sam LaPorta falls outside the top 10 tight ends. Here's my point. Last year, the Detroit Lions' plan was to play great defense and run the football. Keep Jared Goff's passing attempts at 25 or fewer. And between weeks 3 and 7 especially, but all the way through week 7, Sam LaPorta averaged 2.8 targets. He was looking like a fantasy bust. He had some floor games, but there was no ceiling at all. And then the Lions defense began to fall apart due to injuries. They had 18 players over the course of the season placed on IR on the defensive side of the ball. And at that point, all of a sudden, LaPorta's targets went through the roof. He averaged 50 yards, almost 2/3 of a touchdown per game over his last 11. That was the Sam LaPorta people expected. They drafted him last year. They were happy. But this year, I expect the defense to be back where it started last year. Very good. The running game is dominant. LaPorta is not going to see the targets to justify his ADP.
Jim, I'm going with Rashee Rice finishing 2025 as a top 10 PPR wide receiver. He only played 3 full games in 2024 before the LCL tear. But in those games, he averaged 21.6 PPR points, 8 catches, 96 yards, and nearly 10 targets per game. His yards after the catch was elite, 96th percentile, and his role expanded with a deeper average depth per target than his rookie campaign. There's target competition now with Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and Travis Kelce, but Rice has already proved he can earn volume from Mahomes. His legal situation could delay a suspension until 2026, and if healthy, Rice is the best bet to lead the Kansas City Chiefs in targets and fantasy production.
My next one, Isaiah Pacheco bounces back and finishes at the top 18 running back. Now, last year was a disaster. People were drafting him as a borderline top 12 running back because word came out that Isaiah Pacheco would handle a 3-down workload. That was always a problem. Pacheco is a very violent physical runner, takes on too much contact. The injuries would be a matter of time. Now, we couldn't predict a broken leg, but when Pacheco came back, he was terrible last year. Why? He was off his leg for 2 to 3 months. The strength wasn't there, so he looked bad. Pacheco's healthy now, comes back. Yes, he may lose that 3rd down role to rookie Brashard Smith if he learns the offense, taking on the Jerick McKinnon role. But Pacheco is still easily the best running back in their room. Kareem Hunt is not a threat to a healthy Pacheco. Pacheco should get 15 carries in most games, some goal line work, and in this offense, he should do extremely well. And the good news, you could draft him just outside the top 30 running backs, so that's a screaming value all day long.
Jim, R.J. Harvey will finish as a top 12 fantasy running back in PPR. Denver spent 2nd-round draft capital on Harvey, and the runway is clear. Jaleel McLaughlin's a poor man version of him, and Audric Estime is a short yardage grinder. Sean Payton handpicked Harvey to be his do-it-all running back, and the usage will be huge. He has 4.4 speed, legit burst, and was highly productive at UCF, over 4,500 total yards, 48 touchdowns in 3 seasons. He's a great pass catcher and tough to tackle despite his size. There are concerns about pass protection and workload durability, but if he earns a significant snap share in this offense, the upside is massive. Harvey has a skill set, draft capital, and opportunity to smash in year 1.